All right, so just wanted to kind of make a really quick video just showing like easily how I was able to play the SPY today. And this is with, so I have not touched anything since the market closed just a second ago. And so these are my exact lines that I used that I already had set up. And really you just have that opening price from the other day. And then you can see it kind of bounced off of that. But none of the indicators at this point, I mean, some are pointing down, actually, some are already pointing down. None of them are really pointing up at this point. And so that's why I told people, like, you'll usually hear me if you watch near the open, at least the first like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm usually just watching. Usually I haven't taken a position. So at this moment, I was just watching. And then once it started to break below here, that's when you still look to go short. Was once all this stuff started pointing down. You can see with the momentum pointing down, and especially you can see that on the MACD. And the only one that wasn't really pointing bearish was the stochastics. But like I said, this doesn't always mean you don't always need all three of them to line up. It definitely wasn't pointing bullish, it just wasn't pointing bearish, but the other two are pretty clear bearish. And then I just knew this is a big line if it breaks from watching it the other day, because this is where the opening was the other day, that this is significant. So once it broke below it, I was already short and I just held. We're looking at this second line. If you wonder where that second line came from, that's from this consolidation right over here. You know, you can see it kind of bouncing off of it there and there and then there. And then you have it consolidate for a while here before it moves up. So that tells you it's pretty significant. And you can see it rests at this level and it tries, but it can't really get back above it. So I had no reason to exit my position that was short. And then it goes down and we get down here and you can see the momentum kind of stops. You still have the stochastics telling you that, hey, maybe this thing is oversold. But now we're starting to see that the momentum stop being bearish. This indicator right here is telling you that you should be looking to get out of your position, which, like I said, this indicator didn't really pay a ton of alert and or a ton of significance in this play, but it is like coming into play now, telling you that this is probably a little bit oversold. But really what I was looking at is the momentum in the MACD. And once you get down here, you can see the momentum really start to stop being bearish. And you had plenty of time to decide if you wanted to exit your position or not. So I was looking and, I can see that we're still not really selling off. And then around here, you can see that if you start looking at the MACD, you can see that this thing stops being bearish. You can see that this one is starting to go up above the 20 line. And so I was just kind of watching for a little while. We started to get some bullish momentum. So maybe you want to still be watching calls. I haven't really got in at this point because I'm watching this line where it broke down, and where that line come from, that's from over here on this day. And you can tell that once we break below it, we're having a really hard time getting back above it. We get above it, but that was only above it for like a cent or two, really right there. And that was really quick. And then once we start to break out above it with all these indicators pointing up, that is when I was really looking to get in. And we got to a point right here where you can tell, looking at the stochastics, and we're above the Bollinger Bands, that you want to be, with it being this far above them on these next couple candles, you're going to be watching for a pullback. But once you enter these calls, when you broke out above that red line, high probability we're going to this green line. You can see us consolidate for just a little bit there, break out above it. And then where I was really, I definitely told people this word for word, looking to exit, was at the 285.46 area. And you had plenty of time to get out. No real pullbacks there. We just consolidated a lot. And then we did end up breaking above it. I didn't want to take a position here because we do have that drawback. But this whole area above here, why I didn't want to take a position is because I would call this, whoops, meant to remove that. I would call this level up here a demand level. And that's just because within this range, you have a lot of trading that goes on. And so as we're coming up into it, it'd be an area where there's more demand kind of throughout the whole area. And so really, after we get out, that's why you'd have that initial pop. Now, I did draw back to it, but you'd have the initial pop. And I mean, if you're just scalping them, then that's what you take on some of these. I was gone at this time, but I didn't want to play up here because we have all this trading over here in this range where it bounces around. And so, yeah, it did end up working out today for a little bit, but definitely just a choppy area. This right here, is a lot more probabilities. And why? I mean, you can just see one thing also to notice is, if you're quick to fall through that range, you're going to be quick to rise through that range. And you can see, it's just real smooth and not any choppy trading right there. Then you get over here and you have the choppy trading going on, and then it's real smooth on the way back up. Quick to fall, quick to rise through that range. But so anyway, that was just showing like I really, I get that everyone else can't see this, and don't get me wrong, I miss plenty of other plays that other people do, but the SPY I just thought was really easy today. This was, I know this looks pretty small, maybe just looking at the chart, but this move was pretty big. Puts and calls, if you played it correct both ways, made a lot of money today. And I just thought it was pretty obvious. And if you're wondering how I saw it, that was really how. These three lines is mainly all that I was looking at, with the main two just being this line and this line is really all. That's the part that I played. And once it got above it, I didn't play that part. I knew that this level was up here, but I just wasn't sure with, I didn't think that trade was as high a probability as this fall right here to down here, and then this breakout right here to up here. That was a real high probability. I thought that was real obvious, and so that's why I played it. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of tell people my thought process on that, and that's pretty much the only thing I really played today. I think there was some other people looking at like AMD and Roku. AMD I scalped for like 10 cents and then got out. I pretty much broke even on that. I might have made like a buck or two, but nothing really. And then Roku, I think some people took Roku. I did not trade Roku today. This was just the only two trades I made, but like I said, it was a good bit of money. So if anyone has any questions, just ask me. Hopefully that'll help you all out.